Greetings peeps, coming at you from Rimrock, Arizona, outside of Sedona. It's a nice balmy 91 degrees here today and climbing, and I've been running my air conditioning to stay cool. I want to talk to you today about preventing vapor lock in carbureted engines, specifically generators, but this should also work in any carbureted RVs, like if you have something from the 80s and you have vapor lock problems. I seem to have resolved the problem with the generator, so I'd like to share that information with you today and talk about how I'm trying to beat this heat.
HOBOTECH.
First of all, you can see I got what I call Great White out today. Great White is my 12 by 12 tarp. It's a very thick tarp. I forget how many mils, but it's very thick. You can see that it's absolutely not cheap. If you're interested, I have it up on Amazon, just like everything else. So I got my silver tarps covering the bedroom, Great White covering all the windows up top, the windshield, the side windows. The only thing I have open is the vent at the top for the toilet, which you don't want to cover that up. That would be bad. Got the air conditioning running. I got the silver tarp on this side, this part of the bedroom. Everything is all tucked up in there. And yes, generator's running. As you can see, I have a fan blowing on the carburetor, and that seems to keep things a little bit cooler. I'm using this busted solar panel for shade to keep it out of the direct sun. So those are two things I've done. Take the side off the generator, put a fan on there to blow on it, keep the generator in the shade so that the sun's not beating on it. But the number one thing that fixed my vapor lock issues, and this happens to my generator anytime I try to run it over about 85 degrees, it'll vapor lock, and the little press bulb that you're supposed to fill with gas will fill up with vapors, and that basically stops the generator dead in its tracks. It only takes about 10 minutes. If it's 85 degrees, I pull start it, it'll run for about 10 minutes and die. And there's two ways to fix that. The first of two ways is with ethanol free gasoline. Now, some places call it clear gas or free gas, or they always got some kind of marketing ploy, but now all around the country there are different blends of gasoline. Some states go down as low as 84, 85 octane. Some states you can get 93 octane at a regular pump without going to like a specialized place. Here in Arizona, ethanol-free gasoline is available, but it's not available everywhere. You kind of have to go to a bigger town. There's usually only one station that sells it. In my case, it's a 40-minute drive to Cottonwood in order to get ethanol-free gas. Now, that's just too far on my way to get a little 2.5 gallons. It costs me more in gas to get there than it would be to fill this thing up. But what if you're in a place where you can't get ethanol-free gas? What are you going to do? So what's the problem with ethanol? Why is it so horrible? Well, first thing is that ethanol is a corrosive. It will degrade rubbers and plastics prior to a certain period. We now do rubbers and plastics to withstand ethanol in newer vehicles, but in older vehicles that was a real serious problem. Ethanol also absorbs water in gasoline, so any water vapor, any water that's in the gas, the ethanol will bind to it. And it basically, it ruins the gasoline in a way when it does that. But the big problem with ethanol and gas, if you have a carbureted engine, is that it lowers the boiling point of gasoline. Alcohols evaporate faster at a lower pressure, a lower temperature than gasoline. And when you mix alcohol in with the gasoline, it makes the gasoline evaporate easier and at a lower pressure. Combine that with a higher altitude, I'm at 4,000 feet. If I was at 6,000 or 7,000 feet, it would boil even sooner at a lower temperature. Pretty much where I'm at right now, over 100 degrees, this gasoline can boil. And if I was at 6,000 or 7,000 feet, it could boil even at a lower temperature than that. The boiling is an issue because it turns into vapor inside of the lines going to the carburetor and inside the carburetor itself. In other words, it turns from a liquid to a vapor before it should, and that causes engines to stall out. It's called vapor lock. Now, if you can't buy ethanol-free gasoline, there are additives to gasoline that'll make the boiling temperature higher so that it won't vaporize inside the lines or inside your carburetor. One of the magic things that I found that absolutely works, and it works because I know I'm using it right now, is Marvel Mystery Oil. You put this in the gas, and it actually raises the boiling point because it's an oil. It's an oil-based flammable that you can put in there. It'll still burn just fine. It won't crap up your spark plugs or cause any kind of deposits on your valves. If anything, that's actually cleaned your valves. It says on the bottle to use 1 ounce per gallon of fuel on a 4-stroke, but I find that's not nearly enough to prevent vapor lock. I'm adding 4 to 6 ounces per gallon. It's actually turning the fuel a light pink when I see the little bulb in the generator. Let's go take a look. I don't know if you can see that, but the fuel is pink in that little bulb. So by adding Marvel Mystery Oil, or as we call it in the industry, MMO, by adding MMO to the gas, you raise the boiling point of the gasoline, therefore stopping it from vaporizing earlier, and it works. The downside is you have to add a lot of it to the fuel, but it's not going to hurt a little 4-stroke small engine. I wouldn't put that much in a vehicle that uses fuel injectors or anything like that, but you could use this in your RV, your carbureted RV or van from the 80s, to prevent vapor lock in these high temperatures. Especially when you're climbing mountains. You're going up to high altitude and it's going to be a hot day. Take a bottle of this with you. In fact, you should put it in the gas before you go on your trip so it mixes in with the fuel. Like I said, 4 ounces per gallon works in small engines. You might want to try about half of that in a vehicle. Now, I've heard of people using automatic transmission fluid. I don't know how flammable automatic transmission fluid is, so I personally wouldn't try it. I've heard people putting diesel in, mixing diesel in with their gasoline to prevent vapor lock. This stuff, you can pick this up at every auto store, pretty much every auto store in the country for around $4 for this bottle. Really, really cheap to prevent a lot of problems. And at the same time, it cleans out the valves, cleans off your spark plugs. It's designed to get the gunk out of your engine. So, highly recommend that. It's working for me. I wanted to share this. I'll basically make it a HOBOTECH tip. HOBOTECH tip. In the hot summer heat, in your generators, be sure to add Marvel Mystery Oil to your gasoline. That'll prevent your vapor lock issues. Also helps to, if you have one of these inverter type small generators that has panels on the side, take the panels off, and if you have a fan you can plug into it, just plug a fan into it. That'll help it too. Now we got some wind today, but yesterday there was no wind and that thing was really overheating pretty quickly. Now as a bonus, this broken solar panel, I made a video on my attempts to fix it. If you guys are interested in seeing my failure, let me know in the comments below. I'm gonna throw it in the dumpster.
Odin commands you to like and subscribe, and clean my litter box.
Hey Odin, how many F's do you give about the air conditioner today? Huh? You know, if it wasn't for the air conditioner, you'd be panting and meowing and going all nuts. But instead, you're all curled up and cuddly in your cat carrier. If you're wondering how the air conditioner's doing, I just flipped over to 75 degrees, but it's about 93 outside and 75 in here. Nice and cozy. Well, that's it for now. I hope this tip helped you guys out getting your generators to stay running in this heat. That's it for now. Till next time. Hey, thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe, share, and like. And we'll see you guys next time. Say hi, Odin.
RV Golf Guy Joe Lazaro hat.